Councillor Schumann, we're now streaming.
Thank you very much. Members of the committees and members of the public, for many of you, you'll be aware that we have a certain amount of scripted text to read out in order to make sure the meeting runs smoothly. So please forgive me if I am looking elsewhere, but I will stick to the words that I've been given. So I'd like to begin by welcoming those members of the public and press who are watching the live stream of this meeting via Peterborough City Council's website. Members, you are now aware of your need to keep your video cameras switched on for the duration of the meeting and to keep your microphone muted except when I invite you to speak. Please make sure your microphones are muted now. Please pick the raised hand function if you wish to ask a question or comment. And if you have any problem with using that function, please let me know now. There is always a risk that we may run into technical problems, and I would ask for your patience if we do so. Should this occur, I will declare an adjournment while the fault is addressed and the public broadcast will be paused. If it is not possible to address the fault, the meeting may be abandoned until such a time as it can be reconvened. Can I remind members and officers that all virtual meetings will be recorded and that these recordings will be published on both councils' websites. We now move to a roll call just to check that we can all be heard and hear correctly through this Zoom meeting. So members of the Staffing and Appeals Committee for Cambridgeshire, I will begin by calling the names of all members, and if you can establish your attendance and confirm your presence. Thank you. Councillor David Ambrose Smith.
Present, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Peter Hudson.
Present.
Councillor Bill Hunt.
Present.
Councillor Matt Maguire.
Present, Chairman.
Councillor Barbara Ashwood.
Present, Chair.
Councillor Linda Jones.
Present.
Thank you, and myself, Councillor Josh Schumann. And from your responses, I can trust that you can hear me well. I will now hand on over to Councillor Brown, who will do a similar exercise for the Peterborough City Council's Employment Committee. Councillor Brown.
Okay. Members of the Employment Committee, I will ask the Democratic Services Officer to begin by calling the names of all members on the committee to establish your attendance. Please confirm your presence when you are asked to call, called.
Thank you, Chair. Councillor Holditch.
Present.
Thank you. Councillor Farouk.
Present.
Thank you. Councillor Jamil.
Present.
Thank you. Councillor Hemraj.
Present.
Thank you. Councillor Yerketin.
Present.
Thank you. Councillor Wigan.
Present.
Thank you. And yourself, Chairman.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, as this is our first meeting of Cambridge's Staffing and Appeals Committee after the full council, it's incumbent on us to elect a chairman and vice chairman for the next municipal year. So I will hand over to our Democratic Services Manager, Michelle Rowe. If Michelle, you could kindly conduct the election of chairman and vice chairman.
Thank you. Can I have nominations, please, from the Staffing and Appeals Committee for the role of chairman?
Thank you, Michelle. I nominate Councillor Schumann.
Do I have a seconder?
Yes, still, sorry.
Happy to second.
Barbara.
Okay. Do I have any other nominations? Anybody wish to vote against or abstain? In that case, Councillor Schumann, would you like to take the chair?
Thank you very much, Michelle, and thank you, committee. We now have to elect a vice chairman, and I would like to propose from the chair, Councillor Peter Hudson, for the position of vice chairman. Do I have a seconder?
Happy to second that, Chairman.
Two, but we'll take Councillor Matt Maguire. Thank you very much, Councillor Hunt, as well. Do I have any other nominations for vice chairman? Thank you very much. And any indication of members wishing to vote against that nomination? I'll check the participants list. Good. Okay, that being the case, then I can announce that Councillor Hudson is duly elected as vice chairman of the Staffing and Appeals Committee. Thank you. Sorry for that process or bit we have to put in there. We now move on to our agenda item number 3, the apologies for absence and declarations of interest. Would the Democratic Service Manager please report any apologies for absence?
Chair, we have one apology for absence from Councillor Nicola Harrison.
Thank you. And now I pass over to Councillor Brown to conduct the same part of Peterborough's Employment Committee.
Okay. Will the Senior Democratic Service Officer report any apologies for absence?
Thank you, Chair. We have no apologies for absence.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Councillor Brown, and this is all going swimmingly. We now move on to declarations of interest. Does any member of either committee wish to declare any disclosable pecuniary interest or non-statutory disclosable interests? If you do, please raise the blue hand function now. Thank you. That's no indication for any declarations of interest, so we can move on with the meeting. And I move on to agenda item number 4, and that's the minutes of the meeting held on the 18th of February 2020. Staffing and Appeals Committee, we are being asked to approve the minutes of the meeting on the 18th of February 2020 as a correct record. Can I ask any member who does not agree with this process to click the raised hand function on the right of your screen? I see no raised hands. That being the case, I will take those minutes as read and agreed, and at appropriate time we'll be able to sign those in person in the offices. Members, we now move on to agenda item number 5, and this is the exclusion of press and public. For the decision of both committees today, I read out and propose for the Staffing and Appeals Committee the recommendations to exclude press and public. And that is to resolve that the press and public be excluded from the meeting on the grounds that the agenda contains exempt information under paragraph 1 of part 1 of schedule 12A of the Local Government Act 1972 as amended, and that it would not be in the public interest for this information to be disclosed, information relating to any individual. Do I have a seconder from the Staffing and Appeals Committee?
Yeah, if you want. Bill
Thank you. Thank you very much, Councillor Hunt. I'll take that as duly seconded. And now we'll move to a vote. Michelle, if I may check with you first, is this a vote from both committees to exclude press and public?
Probably the easiest way to do it, if Councillor Brown has a proposer and seconder, we can do probably the vote all at once.
Thank you, that sounds very sensible. Councillor Brown, do you have a proposer and seconder to move into exempt session?
Well, I'll ask who wants to propose.
I'll propose it.
And seconded.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, councillors. So we'll now move to the vote on excluding the press and public on the grounds that I've highlighted. If, because hopefully we'll see unanimous support for that proposal. If you don't agree with the proposal, if you can please indicate in the raise hand function now. That's no indication, so therefore I take it unanimously supported to exclude the press and public.